You know what? Is it just cool if we have a discussion for a second? I don't know what the hell these NBA players have been drinking, what kind of workouts they've been doing. I don't know what's going on, but for some reason, we've seen a lot of scoring lately. I swear, it feels like every other week we have a player dropping 50 or 60 points. And last night, Karl-Anthony Towns was no exception of that, having 60 points versus the San Antonio Spurs, and honestly, it was a pretty efficient game. As a matter of fact, it was actually a pretty good night for all centers around, which is definitely something I want to talk about in this video. I don't want to waste you guys' time in the intro, so of course, before I get into the content, basically leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, notifications on. I'm trying to hit 100k by the end of the year. And second, I'm going to be streaming live on Twitch tonight, twitch.tv/Spex. We're just going to be watching some videos, maybe even talking about some basketball, just some pretty normal things that we like to do over there. The link will be in the description below, and while you're down there, you might as well just subscribe. It's free. And with all that being said, let's get into the video. Today's video is brought to you by Manscaped.com. We're going to be talking about them later on in the video. Before we even discuss how good of a game it was, can we just talk about for a sec how good of a night it was for centers? I mean, we had the MVP candidates in Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid. They had arguably the matchup of the year. I mean, they were going at it. Some people were saying Jokic won, some people were saying Embiid won. Embiid did have more points with 33 points. However, Jokic led in every other category, and the Nuggets ended up winning, so the choice is yours. Regardless, this was definitely the most interesting game of the night, or so I thought, because this man Karl-Anthony Towns decided to steal the spotlight, having 60 points, 17 rebounds, and having a very efficient 19 of 31 from the field. Oh, and he went 7 for 11 on threes. And Karl-Anthony Towns now officially has the season record for the most points that someone has dropped this season, which was originally taken by LeBron James and Trae Young, who had both dropped 56 points in a game. On top of that, he also became the first NBA center with a 60-point game since Shaq, and Shaq had 61 back in 2000 on his birthday. Towns is also the 5th center with a 60-point game, joining Shaquille O'Neal, David Robinson, Wilt Chamberlain, and George Mikan. And if you can't tell, that's some pretty good company to be with. And for those of you that love stats just like me, he is also the first center since 2000 to have 60 points and 15 rebounds, which again was Shaq. Oh, and Minnesota also scored the 4th most points this year, having 149 points as a team. So not only did Cat have his best game of the year, but the Minnesota Timberwolves dominated this game. I think something that people are also underlooking is the fact that Karl-Anthony Towns had 32 points in the 3rd quarter. Like, goddamn. If I'm being honest, if Karl-Anthony Towns would have played most of the 4th quarter and would have legitimately tried to actually score more points, he could have had 70. However, I think we're all okay with 60, because you know it's very common for a center to have 60 and 17 on a really good shooting percentage. I don't know what's more impressive, to be honest though, Karl-Anthony Towns having that game that he put up, or the fact that Malik Beasley got a total of 19 minutes of cardio. But to be fair, that's 19 minutes of cardio that I will never get. But seriously, your whole team drops 150 points and you score 0? Come on, Malik Beasley, do better. Also, I've been seeing a lot of people say Karl-Anthony Towns is the greatest shooting center of all time, and I've seen people say, oh, you know, Dirk is the greatest shooting center of all time. However, it's not possible for Dirk to be the greatest shooting center of all time, because Dirk was a power forward. But even if they mean big man in general, as much as I love Dirk and I think he's arguably one of the greatest power forwards of all time, and he definitely could shoot, not as efficient as Cat's been able to. By the way, this isn't me saying that Cat is better than Dirk. I still think Dirk is arguably one of the best big men of all time, but I just think Cat's a better shooter. I know some old heads are gonna come for my head in the comment section. Now, before we get into the rest of the video, I want to take a quick break to talk about today's sponsor. Before we get into the rest of this video, hey y'all, this video is sponsored by Manscaped.com, the #1 brand for men's grooming and hygiene products. Manscaped has a variety of products, and one of my favorite has to be the Lawnmower 4.0 with 7,000 RPM and skin-safe technology. Now, I've been using Manscaped for about a couple months, and I gotta say, I've been very impressed with their products. In fact, I've been incorporating a lot of their stuff into my shower routine. One of my favorite things about Manscaped is the fact that their products are unisex, so anyone can use Manscaped products. They also do have stuff for other parts of your body, for example, like their 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. They even have body wash. Like, they have all the products you can need for your shower routine. Like I said earlier, I've been using Manscaped's products for about a couple months, ever since they sent them out to me, and I've been very impressed. Now, if you guys do want any products from Manscaped, then make sure you guys go to manscaped.com. The link is in the description below. However, if you do want to save some money, make sure you guys do use code Spex for 20% off plus international free shipping. Guys, that is code Spex for 20% off plus international free shipping. I think something that is very scary that I didn't talk about in the intro because I completely forgot about it, but there's a reason why he didn't drop nearly 70. And that's because he had 5 fouls and he would have eventually fouled out, so that's why within the last 2 minutes of the game, he finally had 60. And while they did beat the Spurs by a pretty good amount, ideally the game was getting close and the Spurs would eventually start to inch back, but I think they wanted to wait until the game was over. Because if Karl-Anthony Towns fouls out, yeah, he had 56 points, however, you guys are trying to win the game, that's the most important thing. And Karl-Anthony Towns is their best player, so that would hurt them, and maybe them winning wouldn't be the most ideal thing, even though realistically, I would have had the T-Wolves winning regardless. In the comment section below, I want you to put, if Karl-Anthony Towns wasn't close to fouling out, how many points you think he would have ended with? I mean, he had 56 before the fourth quarter started, and I feel like most of the fourth quarter he didn't even really play. So if we're going off the 32 points that he had in that third quarter, I think it's safe to say he would have kept on that hot streak, and I could see him scoring more than 70. 73, 75 is the most ideal number to me. However, having a 32-point third quarter and having a nearly 20-point fourth quarter, that's just too crazy for me. But I mean, who's gonna stop Karl-Anthony Towns? Let's just be honest. I mean, it was the Spurs after all. Also, I know I don't talk about the Spurs on this channel because, well, I don't talk about the Spurs, but shout out to Greg Popovich for getting the all-time career win record. Also, again, another fun fact that the Timberwolves single game scoring record was 56, which Karl-Anthony Towns had in 2018, and it only took Cat 3 quarters to even tie the record. Is it also weird to anyone that even before this game, Karl-Anthony Towns has been a very underrated center? You know, I think this guy's a top 5 center, but I haven't seen a lot of people really say, hey, I think Cat is a top 5 center, or I think he's one of the best centers in the NBA. I think there will be some people saying I think he's the best center or a top 3 center now because of this game only. By the way, about a week or two ago, I made a video talking about the T-Wolves, which so many T-Wolves fans hated. The reason was essentially that I talked about not many players on their team, and I said Cat was their best defender, which I didn't actually believe. However, I didn't even remember saying that until the actual video came out, and I was like, oh my god, I actually said that. I will say though, when I make these videos talking about teams, I generally like to talk about 3 or 4 players. So yeah, now that the whole Timberwolves community hates me, I hope y'all accept my apology because I talked about this game. I'm gonna end off with this though. I think lately scoring in the NBA, and this is something I have to make a video about because literally, like I said in the intro, every other week, or no, every other day, we're seeing a 50-point bomb. Cat dropping 60 was insane, don't get me wrong. However, do not be surprised if in a week or so someone drops 70. And shoot, maybe someone else could drop like 80, or who knows, someone might score 100. The NBA is crazy nowadays. Okay, maybe 100 points is kind of insane and out of reach, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. Scoring has been going insane lately, and someone's gonna score a lot of points. Karl-Anthony Towns is definitely a top 5 center in the NBA, and if no game this season has proved it, it has to be this one.